Okay. Refuge in Bodhicitta stanza. I'll go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham tathagato hyavatat desham chayo nirodham evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham hyavatat desham chayo nirodham evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, what we were discussing was all composite things impermanent. And the impermanence, the gross and subtle. The subtle impermanence is the momentariness involved. Momentariness involved in the case of the composite phenomena. And the momentariness, let's say, the change, the all impermanent phenomena, including the gross change, they should necessarily have the underscoring subtle impermanence, momentariness. For example, that the change that we see in ourselves. For example, when we were younger, the skin, complexion, everything's very different, and the hair, everything's different. And then as we grow older, somehow it gets changed. Everything, whole bodily composition changes. And let's say, for example, a tree. You plant a tree, and then it, say, like within 10 years, it grows to like 10 feet tall. So how come that this change happens 10 feet tall? It is not that for the last 9 years and 11 months it remained a tiny sapling, and oh, tomorrow comes the 10 year and then suddenly it pops like 10 feet tall. No, every year it has been growing the 1 foot every year. Oh, where is your wife?
We're taking turns. I'm sending the recordings to her because she's taking care of the kids. So we're taking turns.
I see, okay.
Yeah, so she went now to take care of the kids because the nanny is leaving at 5. And I'm recording and sending the recordings to her, so she will be listening. So she's up to date when she comes. So
okay.
So that's the plan. That's the plan. I do that tomorrow.
Okay. What are we talking?
You were distinguishing between the two types of compound phenomena. they're talking about when
the
our
tree.
childhood.
Okay, let's say tree. Okay, the change that you see, the change that you see within 10 years, a tree which grew to like 10 feet tall, so this tree has been growing every year, one foot every year. And the change that you see within a year is because of the change that you see within a month. Every month the tree was growing 1 inch each. 1 inch every year. The change that you see over a year is because the change that you see over the change that you see over the month is because the change that you see over the days. And the days, hours, minutes, seconds. Okay, which means that the change that we see, the tree is growing, our body also becoming older, and the house, everything, all the change that we see is all because of the change happening on a yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, then the minute basis, second basis. Second basis means it's quite scary to see that things are changing, your body is changing second by second. Although when you look at this body, you look at your own body, you don't see this changing second by second. It's all the deception. We see it is not changing, but actually it's changing. Second by second is changing. Without the change that without the change happening on the second level, then the minute, hourly, and the yearly change cannot be seen. To see the change on the second level, for example, they say this, the clock here. We say the second means tuck, 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 tuck. This is how it changes. And then the change that you see over the second by second is only because of the change that you see millisecond by millisecond. Millisecond means 1 second has how many milliseconds? 1,000 milliseconds, which means that it's moving so fast. And in the mobiles, we see that 1 second is split into 100. Well, not 1,000, it's split into 100. And even the 1 second split into 100, our eyes can really catch it. So really, to meditate on impermanence, it is very important for us to look at the timer or the stopwatch in a mobile. Just press it and see how it moves so fast. This is how body moves so fast. Everything, all composite phenomena, they move so fast. When you see that, literally, when you see that it's moving so fast, it's very scary. Very scary. And okay, look at the other person sitting next to you. Look at the other person sitting next to you, not at me. Okay, you are smiling because you don't see the person changing. If you see the other person change, you will not smile. It's very scary. It's actually moving so fast. And so our eyes cannot catch it, but our mental consciousness, if we train ourselves, then we can see that literally everything is moving so fast. And this is a fact. We are not, the only thing is that we are, I don't know whether it's a blessing or whether it's evil blessing. Our eyes cannot see that. If our eyes can see that, it's very scary. And the reality is that it's changing like this, so fast, moves so fast. So if you really see things in this form, then many of the negative thoughts will automatically stop. Many negative thoughts will automatically stop. Okay, so this is what we have to really meditate on this. Okay, let's say, for example, if I tell you that you want to begin a startup, and you need some investment, and then I say, okay, I'll give you a loan. And you're so happy somebody's giving you a loan. How much? €1 million. You're so happy, right? And this is just for 2 days. Why are you laughing? Because it's just no point. In 2 days it will pass like this. So it's so momentary. It's so brief. Like was all composite phenomena so brief. They are so brief. Okay, I like this cheesecake. The moment you say I like this cheesecake, the moment you go to grab your hand to the cheesecake already changed. The one you said I like it is already gone. And by the time you grab it and bring it closer towards you, the person who said I want it is already gone. This is the impermanence. So the point is that the Buddha taught of all the teachings of the Buddha very clearly said that of all the footprints, the footprint of the elephant is the supreme. Supreme meaning the biggest, the largest. Of all the meditations, the meditation on impermanence is the supreme. Okay, my question to you. What we learned from yesterday and this morning is that of all the meditations, meditation on the wisdom to see that things are like illusion, wisdom of emptiness. This is the liberating path. This is what we learn. This is the liberating path. And this is supreme. Without this, everything becomes just meaningless. This is supreme. But at the same time, Buddha said that of all the imprints of the elephant is the supreme. Of all the meditations, meditation on impermanence is the supreme. Okay, do you see two statements which the Buddha himself made? That of all the meditations, meditation on emptiness is the liberating path, is the most important. Then on the other hand, the Buddha said of all the meditations, meditation on impermanence is the supreme. Why? Why do you think the Buddha made these two statements, which are superficially very different, superficially very contradictory? Any idea? Yes?
I believe, this my beliefs is because these are two sides of the same coin.
How?
Empty, if you are empty of inherited existence, means there is change happening all the time. It's not stuck, solid, existing without changing at all.
Non-composite phenomena?
As if it was...
non-composite phenomena, do they have the emptiness nature or not?
Everything is emptiness.
Everything is not impermanent. Only composite things are impermanent.
Yes.
So how can you see that these were the two sides?
But when we are looking,
it's not applicable to non-composite phenomena.
When we're looking at the I, there, I believe I exist.
That's fine. My question is, why meditation impermanence is what the Buddha considered as the supreme, while the meditation on emptiness is the most important thing. Anybody? Yes?
The impermanence meditation leads you to freedom and the emptiness to Buddhahood?
No. Without emptiness, no freedom, sorry. Without emptiness meditation, no freedom. No matter how much you meditate on impermanence, no freedom. Yes?
I think meditating on impermanence helps you to understand emptiness.
Meditation on suffering nature also helps us to, all composite things are impermanent, all contaminated things are suffering nature. Second one also helps us to take to emptiness. Okay, yes, Henry?
Depending on the audience, who he was giving the talk.
No matter what, who the audience is, without the wisdom of emptiness, no exception. Even if you are the king, queen, prince, president, prime minister, if you want to be liberated from samsara, you must have to have the wisdom of emptiness, no exception. Anybody? Okay, Alex?
Maybe attachment, meditation on impermanence with you to become disattached.
And then the meditation on suffering also will help you to detach. Okay, Henrik.
Meditating on impermanence.
Not permanence, impermanence.
Impermanence.
Yes.
Make us realize that we need to practice now because everything is changing, so we have
Yes.
almost it's like lights a fire under us that we need to practice and we need to meditate to realize.
Okay, very good, Henrik. Very good. Anybody else?
What's impermanence? When I look at if I think about I'm impermanent, this means there is an end to it. I'm going to die.
Impermanent not necessarily mean something's going to die. The mind is impermanent, it will never die, it will continue.
But on a relative level, I'm not thinking about there is the consciousness. I'm looking at the I that thinks I'm here forever. I'm going to be here next year and doesn't contemplate on death. Impermanence brings it down to earth.
Meaning?
It brings the thought that I believe that I'm going to still be here next year and in the next 10 years, that I'll be 90 years old. Impermanence is saying, no, it can just go like that because you are not here forever as this physical body.
So?
Well, so what I started talking about, impermanence brings you down to earth in relation to
suffering.
death.
Suffering also makes you down to earth in relation to death, because the death is...
But I think death, if I know that today can be my last day, my relation to others should be different. I'm not going to engage into being...
No, why it is the supreme?
Why is that supreme? I think it's going to make my heart be more gentle. And less
compassion also, meditation, compassion also make you gentle.
But death also can be transformational.
Yes, so you can say meditation, compassion supreme. The Buddha did not say this.
I'm not saying that either.
No. Buddha said that meditation impermanence is supreme, and the reason that we are giving is that because it will make your heart more gentle. No. Compassion practice will make your heart more gentle.
I'm not saying because it's going to make your heart more gentle.
It makes you fearless.
Wow, impermanence will give you fear, no fearless. With impermanence, it's very scary.
It makes you realize that change is possible. It's possible to become a Buddha.
Okay.
Everything is impermanent.
So then, dependent origination better than dependent origination. You will see that everything is dependent originated by whatever factors upon which things come to become dependence. You change it, and the results will be changed. It's very clear. Okay.
How isn't it to remove the self-grasping and ignorance and
Then wisdom emptiness is direct. Self-grasping, wisdom emptiness will get it off. Impermanence will not. Maybe the last.
Make us humble.
Make us humble. Oh, meditation on dependent compassion will make you very humble. Okay, yes.
It makes me see everything as an illusion and dream. Because everything is changing.
Not everything is changing, because composite phenomena are not changing.
No,
but non-composite phenomena are not changing. Okay, so yes over there.
You see that the self is impermanent.
So was the problem, so was it.
Then you can experience emptiness.
No, not necessary.
Practice to experience emptiness.
There are many other practices also. Okay, maybe the last.
So, through realizing impermanence, you realize that the afflictive and cognitive obscurations are by nature impermanent, and you can remove them.
They can go away.
Independent origination also. Okay. So let's say. Finally, what's the purpose of existence? To remove our mental defilements. That is a purpose. But then, how will it be removed? Okay, I'll remove it tomorrow. I'll remove it tomorrow. I'll remove it tomorrow. It will never be removed tomorrow. Tomorrow will never come, right? So, for example, we all have been young boys and young girls, right? Okay. Everybody's young, yeah. Okay, let's say. So we all have been like age 6, 7, 8, very young boys and girls. So there, what we have been saying, your mother tells you something, do something, you say, I'll do tomorrow. Study, I'll do tomorrow. This is how we used to do.
Procrastination.
Yes, procrastination, this is happening, right? If this is our way of living, we will never ever work to look to get rid of the mental defilement. Okay, let's say that, okay, I'm sitting here and then I see a snake at the corner there. Then I may say that, okay, the Henry, would you mind removing that snake, right? Okay. So whereas if the snake is nearby, will I say, Henry, would you mind remove the snake? Will I say this? If the snake is nearby, what will I do? I'll jump, right? I'll just jump. I have no time to call Henry. When it's very far away, I'll say, Henry, there's a snake there, would you mind removing it? It's nearby, no Henry, I'll jump. So this nearby will make you act. When I say why I acted when it's nearby, why I just left it on somebody else when it was far away, why?
Can just jump on you.
Yes, nearby, if I don't jump, if I don't act fast, then it can kill me. So I feel a sense of urgency. A sense of urgency will make things work. So finally, cleansing of the mind should happen. Otherwise, we have been saying like this, I will do tomorrow, since time immemorial till today, we have been saying like this. And never we remain samsara all the time. But now with the sense of urgency, then it will make us work. So what will give us a sense of urgency is the impermanence. This impermanence meditation will give us a sense of urgency. Sense of urgency, with the sense of urgency, then we have no time to calculate. We have to jump, we have to act. Only if you act, you will reach somewhere. Okay, therefore, the meditation on impermanence is what the Buddha described as the most supreme. Okay, now imagine, with this, can you imagine the reasoning which I gave you, that the change that you see in 10 years is because the change that you see in the 1 year. The change that you see happening on the yearly basis is because the change is happening on the monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis. Can you imagine that? And what the change that you see on the hourly basis because of the change that you see in the minute basis, second basis, millisecond basis. Can you imagine that? How can you imagine that? You look at your own hands. Look at your own hands. You look at your own hands. Can you imagine that although your eyes cannot see that, but can you imagine that from this reasoning, can you imagine that actually it is moving so fast, but these millisecond by millisecond, this hand is moving? Can you imagine that? Yes. If you can imagine it, this is what you have to reflect on, meditate. If you do an analytical meditation, just try to think of the changes, the grosser changes, because they're subtler. And then you realize at one point that my body is moving at that pace, and Henry is moving at that pace, everybody's moving at that pace, this hall is moving at that pace, and the Finland is moving at that pace, everything's moving so fast. You can feel it. And then you meditate on this, it's very, very scary. Okay, what happened was that it was when I was about 21 years old. No, I was like 20 years old. 20 years old when I first joined the monastery, the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. When I joined them, my teacher, I was so lucky to have my teacher, Venerable Gain Lamrim Yeshe, who was the lifelong retreatant meditator. And then I was so keen to also, become one like him. And then I requested him that please give me some instructions that I can meditate. And then I already studied formally studied Buddhist thought for 1 year. But then this young boy, that's just aged like 20, he would really feel envious of you. This boy studied for like whole 1 year. Still, what he learned, very basic things. And this young boy will be very envious of you all. Just within 6 days, you are studying everything. 6 days. For him, whole 1 year still, he got nothing. He went to his teacher, Geshe, and asked for instruction. He said, the meditate impermanence. I asked him, how to meditate impermanence? He said, just read the book on the first volume of Lama Tsongkhapa's 3 volumes. Read it, and then you reflect on that basis. Okay, because I know how to read, I know how to read the Tibetan books. I just graduated from school, 1 year in the monastery, and then I started my meditation. Then emptiness far away. So emptiness, ideally speaking, I was to be introduced only after like the 8 years. Only after 8 years. And here in 6 days you are getting everything. Very lucky. Wow. Right? But don't tell this to anybody else. Particularly the monks in the monastic universities. If you ask them this emptiness, affirming, non-affirming, and then you ask these questions to them, they will ask you, okay, you study emptiness? Yes, we studied emptiness. Then they will ask you, the first question they will ask you is, how many years you studied? And you will say 6 days. They'll be shocked. Right? Don't disclose this fact. Pretend as though like you have not studied emptiness at all. Okay, keep it for yourself. Okay, 6 days emptiness. Not even 6 days. You have not yet started emptiness. Now this is our second day, right?
Yeah.
Second day. Okay, maybe like 4 days. Okay, so there then I was meditating, and of course the situation should be very conducive. Conducive meaning that everything's so pleasant. No, if everything's pleasant, no impermanence. So things should be in accordance with the practice, but then they don't go to the extreme of subjecting yourself to a very harsh situation. Don't go to the extreme. Okay, in my case, no option other than go through these harsh situations. And then luckily within 5 days, believe it or not, within 5 days, the experience was very scary experience came to me within 5 days. Literally as though like the whole wall, why I was just enclosed in one room, damp room, very cold, snow outside, gloomy inside the house, very dark, very cold, no heating system. And so there then they meditating, and then they say the early morning, getting up early morning, just very young boy, needed so much of sleep for the body. But then, getting up like 5 a.m., very early, early with respect to the situation, snow, cold, damp. Then around like say 7:38, sunshine, then everybody started to come out. I could start to hear the noise. Then I go for my own, to refresh myself out. Then the sun is very pleasant, warm. I would say, okay, I'll sit here for 5 minutes. Then I'll tell myself, Dorji, no, get in. You are meditating, you are supposed to be meditating, you are on a retreat meditating, get in. Don't be attached to the sunshine. If the sunshine is also impermanent, get in. Okay, yes. Got it. And then dark, gloomy house, meditating impermanence. Then in the evening, like 6, 7, becomes so dark. Then go out again to refresh myself. Then Dorji, you want to stay more? Stay. Outside, no, I don't want to stay here, so dark, gloomy, cold. This is what I told you this morning. There's impermanent. Now where is this sunshine? It's gone. So like this is how I practiced meditated. And then got in meditating within 4 or 5 days. Within 4 or 5 days, so literally the whole wall seemed to be like, vibrating, like impermanent, like this. And then the whole mindset changes. Everything's so impermanent, so scary, extremely scary. The things are moving so fast. There's nothing to hold on to as the solid concrete. Okay, so with this, then where am I moving? Where is this body, Dorji, the house, everything moving so fast? Where is it moving towards? Moving towards death. What after that? Then so when will this stop? It will never stop. This is reality. All composite things are impermanent. Whether today's composite phenomena, next life's composite phenomena, all of the impermanent. This is the reality. Wherever you go in the world, king, queens, or the end of the planet, wherever, as long as it's a composite phenomena, this is reality. So fast moving. Okay, so then, how to get out of this problem? Oh, to be impermanent is not a problem, but to be impermanent and you cannot predict where I'm going towards, that's the problem. Whereas the Buddha's mind is also impermanent, but Buddha's mind, there's no problem, because Buddha's mind is very sure as to where it is going towards. It's going towards the happiness, towards the happiness, towards the happiness. Whereas our mind, where it's going towards, not sure. The next life is totally unpredictable. Where? Okay. With this, then how to get out of this? Only by understanding emptiness. Then this young boy just felt the need to learn about emptiness. How I wish that somebody teaches me emptiness. How fortunate they are, the students who are already there in the emptiness class. How fortunate they are. Felt very strongly of that. Okay, so with this, now the point is that, imagine, if this is the reality of impermanence, everything's moving so fast, all composite phenomena move so fast, then the question is, where are we going? Where are we heading towards? This is the question. So imagine that somebody on the railway platform, somebody, a stranger, unknown person, just picks you up and throws you into a very fast moving train. What do you really think? Huh? Well, fine.
That's bad.
Huh?
It's not fine, but that's bad.
No, don't scare me. It's dead. So, faster the train moves, first you will have the fear. That the unknown person picks you up, throwing a very fast moving train, there's a tremendous fear. And faster the train moves, more the fear. Why? Because you don't know where this train is taking you. Right? Okay, who decides where the train is taking you? The driver. The driver decides where the train is taking you. If the driver is your mother, lucky, she'll take you to picnic spot. If the driver is the terrorist, he'll take you to a slaughterhouse or a chamber, the torture house. Very scary. So in our case, this impermanence, this body, the mind, moves so fast, like being in a fast-moving train. Where is it taking us? It depends on the driver. What's the driver? Our mind. Although the driver is not bad, but the driver is under the control of the worst of the contaminations, worst of the demons, the two demons, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. These two are controlling our mind. As long as we are under the control of these two demons, our mind is under control of these two demons, they will never take us to a good, happy place. They will only take us to the suffering and the torture house. Suffering. This is the second seal. What is the second seal? Hey, what is the second seal? All contaminated things are suffering in nature, meaning that anything which is under the control of the contaminations, contamination means mental contamination, particularly the two demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude, will only lead us to suffering. All contaminated things are suffering nature, will only lead us to suffering. What kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, depression. Then the losing near and dear ones, the pain of losing near and dear ones. All this agonizing pain, this is a reality. This is a reality, right? So we need to really reflect on these points more. And the more you reflect on this, okay, once when the 2004, when I was in Cambridge, I found a couple of friends, and the gentleman, the wife was from Israel, the gentleman was a Britisher, And the gentleman, we were very close friends, and he asked me, Dorji, tell me something about Buddhism. He's not a Buddhist. He was not a Buddhist. He just wanted, because out of the friendship, he was asking me, what is? Just tell me something about Buddhism. So I was talking about my first exposure to the outside world, and then no experience. I just directly talk about the suffering, and so forth. In few minutes, he said, Dorji, stop. I said, what happened? He said that, Dorji, in future, in the West, don't ever talk about suffering. I said, why? And he's so kind. He said that, believe it or not, Dorji, in Cambridge, for example, here, Cambridge Highway, if there's accident, car accident, somebody dies. Believe it or not, within 5 minutes, the road is clear. There's no traffic jam. Within 5 minutes, everything is cleared. Even the blood stain will be removed. Because everybody's scared of impermanence, think of impermanence. Everybody's scared of suffering, think of suffering. Everybody's scared of thinking of the problems. So therefore, never ever talk about the suffering in the future. This is what he said. Okay, so what I'm saying is that now, the point is that it's up to the individual. Don't think about it now when you're healthy, don't think about it. And then when you're hit with when the impermanence actually hit you, then you are lost in shock. Go for this. Or you think about it now, and then when the impermanence actually strike you, you will not be shocked. You'll be able to accept it without much pain. Just choose between the two. And wise people will for sure go for the second. Think about it from now, prepare from now, so that when the impermanence actually strikes us, or the miseries actually strike us, we are not shocked. We can accept it with the understanding and know how to tackle it in a sensible way. Okay, this is the reality. So with this, the point is all contaminated things are suffering nature, which means that as long as we are under the control of the contaminations, what contaminations? Mental contaminations, afflictive obscurations, as long as we're under the sway, under control of the afflictive obscurations, it will only take us to suffering, sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, so forth. These problems will never come to an end. Okay, so our job is to meditate on this. If you can think about these, say when the problems actually hit us, you'll be much more at calm and peace. And we don't really have to wait till that point of actually striking us with a very severe problem. Even the very small problems we cannot bear. So therefore, my job in my office, so here, in a way it's good. I've been, teaching something, and meanwhile I also get the opportunity to meditate more on these points while I'm sharing these thoughts with you. Whereas in my office, in Tibet House, my office, I sit in my chair, and then every day, literally like every day, I'm meeting with people who have problems. And what problems? Most of the problems, they are not too severe, they are very small. But then, because that they are not mentally, they are not ready, mentally they are not prepared, they see a very small problem as a very huge problem, they cannot bear it. So, I say that, I always tell them that, okay, so your job, if you don't want to, see these problems, the best thing is recite the 4 seals. All composite things impermanent, all contaminant things suffering nature. Everything's nature, emptiness, selflessness, transcending soul is absolute peace. Try to recite this while knowing the meaning. First know the meaning so well, and then recite this every day. Remind yourself of these 4 realities every day. And then later on, when you everyone is bound to go through difficulties. Everyone, including me. Everybody is bound to go through difficulties. Not only that, you and somebody's talking like this, they will not go through problems. No, everybody has to go through these problems. When you go through these problems, then that's not going to be as severe as, what will otherwise happen. We can actually deal with it. And your mind is calm, peaceful, And in many cases, we can take that as the opportunity for us to grow further. Okay. So this is the all contaminated things of suffering nature. And if you think very carefully, one moment of the suffering of our life is good enough to just cancel and nullify all the past experiences of merriments, jubilance, celebrations, anniversaries, birthdays, parties. Just one moment of suffering is good enough to simply nullify, erase all the past experiences of jubilance. Whole life seems to be so shallow, gloomy, dark. This is reality. Then I remember one gentleman who was in his early 50s. And he just lost his mother. And he was so close to his mother, already in his like 50s, and he was very close to his mother. And then when he lost his mother, he told me that his mother breathed her last in his, with the mother's head in his laps. She breathed her last. She would see that. He could see that. And he said that after loss of my mother, life is totally meaningless. I don't see any meaning why I'm surviving. This was what he said. And then he also saw the cremation of the mother. And he saw that the life is so meaningless, hollow, very shallow, hollow, gloomy. And then I'm just operating now, just for the sake of, surviving. That's it. Otherwise, I don't see any meaning. And then on top of that, he said that when I see people walking, because he saw his mother's body lying there, and then it turned into ash after the cremation. And he said that when I see people walking, he would see just ash moving like this. It's so, life is, this whole world is just totally meaningless. No, just one moment of such a sad incident is good enough simply to erase, nullify all the past experiences, what we call as the jubilance, celebration, festivity, party, and so forth. It's just one moment is good enough. This is what the reality is. It would be good if you can think about this once in a while. It's quite painful, but this will prepare us because we can't evade the reality of the impermanence. Okay, then the question arises, if this is the reality, whether or not there's a way out. For example, this morning's discussion, the Finnish group or the Swedish group, I don't know, about the compassion, love, and the attachment. Finnish group. Okay, so this discussion, now this topic comes here. Whether or not there is a solution to this, where all the pains can be erased completely. All the pains. So where you can have so much of love, but without pain. Whether or not that is possible, whether or not the pain can be curbed, all pains can be curbed completely, this is the question. Okay, 2018, it disappeared. We did not have to do anything, it stopped on its own. Likewise, say the King Henry, which country? France? Denmark? England.
There are many King Henrys.
Many King Henrys. All the King Henrys are gone now. Right? All are gone.
Also French. There are also French.
Okay, so all the King Henrys are gone. Right? Now the kings and the ceremonial kings are left. Some ceremonial kings are, the real King Henrys are all gone. Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, all these are gone. Right? Impermanent, they're gone. Okay, so nobody can stop them. But the question is, it would be wonderful, the way they left the world, if our misery is also left completely, that would be wonderful. When will that happen? It will never happen. right? 2018 left, and 2019 will also leave for good. But our miseries will never leave us unless and until we put effort. Unless until we put effort, it will never leave us. Oh, it's quite scary. What effort is required, right? Now that we are alive, we got the opportunity to meet with the Dharma, the Buddha's teachings. So wise teachings. Amazing. We're so fortunate. What kind of effort? What kind of effort is required? This is the question. What effort? Tell me, anybody.
To practice the Dharma.
Practice the Dharma.
Genuinely practice the
Genuinely practice the Dharma. Om Mani Padme Hum. This is what I'm saying.
No,
Then.
this is not what I'm saying.
Then.
Practicing, understanding, studying, but also meditating, but also
What? Awareness. To meditate what?
Awareness into your thoughts, your actions, and your speech in relation to others.
Yes, this is what before the Buddha Shakyamuni people were doing. Great saints were doing awareness of the body, speech and mind, but they were not liberated.
But having Bodhicitta as your motivation.
Okay, now, from what we learned yesterday and this morning, tell me, what should we do if we don't want, if this suffering, you want to bring an end to the suffering, otherwise so exhausting, so tiring, what should we do?
Remove ignorance.
Remove ignorance. Which ignorance? Self-grasping ignorance. You're getting, let us be very precise.
How to get there?
This is a different question. First you have to remove it. The next question is how to get rid of this. You're getting it? We should be very precise. Give a very precise answer. What is 2 plus 4? 6-ish. Don't say 6-ish, say 6. Right? Then the person will ask how 6. Then you will give the reason. Don't say ish. Be very precise. Okay. So, how to bring an end to this problem? First, track the cause of problem. The cause is, ultimate cause is? What's the ultimate cause of? Self-grasping ignorance. Oh, yeah, we learned yesterday the 5 points. Suffering, contaminant karmas, then what? Gross afflictions, inappropriate attention, self-grasping ignorance. Finally, immediate contaminant karmas. Finally, self-grasping ignorance. Get rid of self-grasping ignorance. Okay. Okay, wow. Now, at least I've got a solution. The self-grasping ignorance has to be gone rid of. How to get rid of this? The next question. How to get rid of this? Just as the darkness, ignorance is like darkness. Just as the darkness can be eliminated only through introducing the light, it is only through introducing the light of the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eliminated. What is the light of the wisdom? The wisdom, by the very definition, is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the next question? What's the next question? Hey, tell me what's the next question?
How to attain that mind?
Huh?
How to achieve mind like that?
Don't be vague. I said, I told you very precisely. What is the wisdom? What is the wisdom to be introduced?
Discernment.
Wisdom is the discernment, is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the next question?
Well, what reality are you talking
What is the
about?
reality?
Reality.
No, don't make it too long. What do you mean by reality? What's the reality? Full stop. Absolute reality, conventional reality, which means that then I'll keep listening to you. Then you will keep speaking. Right? Absolute reality means this, conventional reality means this, and this is, it will never end. Just ask, very precise, to the point. What is the reality? You're getting it? The reality is what let the Buddha speak. Right? Don't speak for you, don't speak yourself. Let the Buddha speak. So the Buddha taught, the reality is everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Seal number 3. What is the third seal? Read. What's the third seal?
Everything is of the nature of emptiness and separation.
Exactly, this is reality. So this is all connected, all the four seals, they're connected. All composite things are impermanent. This understanding will lead us to understand all contaminated things are suffering nature. With this, automatically, invariably, it will take us to the next. What's the reality? Everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Okay. What does it mean? Okay, so what I said is that you asked me what is the reality. The answer that I give you is that the Buddha said the reality is everything is emptiness. It's the nature of emptiness and selflessness. What is your next question? What is your next question?
Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Well, the question will be, okay, differentiate both. Why are they being treated separately?
Okay, why there are two things there?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Wow,
The question is to define what they mean.
Very good. What do you mean by emptiness and selflessness? Just make it very precise. What do you mean by emptiness, selflessness? You're getting it? Okay. This is how we need to learn. We need to learn how to ask the questions very precisely. What do you mean by selflessness, emptiness? Okay. Okay. So this leads us to the understanding of emptiness. Now the liberating path. Right? We talked about the liberating path. The path which is, one is the liberating path and the others are the ripening path. So this leads us to emptiness. Okay. So for that, the next question is, what does it mean by emptiness? What does it mean by emptiness? Okay. How many of you in your life you have dreamt of some very scary dreams? How many of you had very scary dreams in your life? Okay, most of you. Okay, how many of you never had a scary dreams in your life? One, we never had. You don't remember? Okay, it's not that you never had, right? My question is, how many of you are sure that you never had a scary dream in your life? What does it mean by scary dream? If this is the thought, raise hands. Okay, which means that except for one, we all had a scary dreams. Okay, let's say, okay, this is a very important point. What does it mean by emptiness? What is meant by emptiness? And many people, including the professors, university professors, they have a very naive, not all, some are brilliant, very good on the understanding of the Buddhist the emptiness concept, but then there are many who have very naive understanding of emptiness. They say in Buddhism, there's nothing, everything's empty. And then some people trying to compare the Western psychology, Western philosophy, and then the Nagarjuna's philosophy, saying that, Nagarjuna is falling into the idealism, where nothing's accepted, everything's rejected. Idealism. Listen.
Nowadays they think
Listen. Okay, so it's like idealism, right? There's nothing really there. Listen. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so first listen, and then we'll come to that. And if you have time, we can also go into detail. Okay. So they talk about this is how they compare. Not they meaning everyone, some scholars, but those people who really understand Nagarjuna's philosophy, they will not compare like this. They will not compare with idealism, and some will say into nihilism. All versions are there. It's not that, because that the idea is when one does not understand R. Nagarjuna's philosophy well, then you compare it with many things. And some people may even say that Nagarjuna's philosophy and the quantum physics, these two are just identical. Some people say like this, some people say R. Nagarjuna's philosophy totally nihilist, some people say that this is idealism. Okay, these different versions are there. So the point is that this is a clear indication that they really don't get what is Nagarjuna's philosophy or what the Buddha is talking about, emptiness. So they think that emptiness means nothing existing. You're getting it? Okay. So for that, what exactly is emptiness? Before we go into emptiness, the question is, what is the demarcating line of somebody having understood emptiness? For that matter, we need to know two questions. Two questions which is so important. Number one is, do things exist? What's the answer? Say if you are the advocate of emptiness concept, the way R. Nagarjuna presented in its crystal clear form, if you're advocating his philosophy, or if you advocate the Bodhisattva's teaching of the second turning Buddha of Dharma, emptiness concept, then they say, do things exist? My question to you, what is your answer? Yes. Okay, if you say no, you fall into nihilism. If you say no, you fall into nihilism, which is not at all emptiness. It's very far away from emptiness, number one. And many philosophers, they think that, okay, according to R. Nagarjuna, according to the Bodhicitta, that the answer should be no, nothing exists. This is totally wrong, number one. Number two, only if you say things do exist, then the second question is, do things exist objectively? Do things exist objectively? Then the answer is no. And for the time being, we are not introduced as to how things don't exist objectively. It doesn't matter. At least we need to have the basic blueprint of what emptiness is. Blueprint is not the real house. Let us have the blueprint. For the blueprint, first we have to follow the two questions. What is the first question? Do things exist? What's the answer? Yes. Okay. I know your answer is yes, but you think that it has to be no, automatically. Okay, yes, things do exist. If you say no, you are far away from emptiness, you are into nihilism, right? That we should be very sure of. In future, it doesn't matter. Even if our class stops here now, the Bodhicitta retreat stops here without the introduction to emptiness. When you go out, even if somebody is a university professor, a very senior professor, tells you that, oh, in Buddhism, things don't exist. If somebody tells us that, you can be 100% sure that that's not true. In Buddhism, everything exists. But what about emptiness? Yes, emptiness is there, but everything exists. And if they tell you, but how do you know? How do you know that things exist? And the same way you're talking about emptiness, then you say that Bodhicitta retreat is not complete. Right? Okay, so two questions. What are the two questions? Do things exist? Number one, what's the answer? Yes. What's the second question? Do things exist objectively? The answer is no. Only when the second question is asked, do things exist objectively? Your answer is no. Then you are heading towards emptiness. It may not be emptiness, but you are heading towards emptiness. You getting it? Okay. So when we say, do things exist? When you say answer is yes, your answer is yes, you are safe from the extreme of nihilism. Then when you do the second question, when you say, do things exist objectively? When you say no, you are safe from the extreme of absolutism. So rejecting the two extremes is middle way. You're getting it? This is one thing that you have to know. Any time, even each one of us, not only you, me also, after studying emptiness and after reflecting on emptiness, after meditating emptiness, if in your mind somehow you get a feeling that, okay, things don't really exist. They appear to exist, but they don't really exist. If this is what is coming to your mind through study, reflection, meditation, whatever, then let us not miss to remember these two questions. Do things exist? Answer should be yes. Okay. And then the question arises, how do things exist if they don't exist objectively? Okay, this is what we need to keep in mind. Number one. Number two thing that we need to keep in mind is emptiness. When we speak about emptiness, this is a great warning that we need to keep in mind. Emptiness. Emptiness, the tendency for us to go into nihilism is always there. Either philosophically, and oftentimes most of these professors who, not only professors, even the people who read books, how they fall into nihilism, how the interpretation of the emptiness falls into nihilism is all because of they're not studying thoroughly. They just read some books and then they think that I understand the philosophy. It's not like this. Quantum physics, we cannot possibly think of, reading a book and understand quantum physics. It's impossible. You have to study with somebody. You're getting it? Okay. So, to understand emptiness, we have to say the next point that I'd like to share with you here is that emptiness should be understood as the meaning of dependent origination. Okay, we already discussed the first two questions. Now I'm switching to the next point. Emptiness should not be seen as nihilism. Emptiness should be seen as dependent origination, number one. Number two, dependent origination should be seen as the middle way. You getting it? Okay. What would be your next question? When I said emptiness should be understood as dependent origination, and the dependent origination should be understood as the middle way. What would be your next question to me?
What is dependent origination?
What is dependent origination? What else?
Because when you say emptiness should be understood as dependent origination, and then how is the understanding behind it to make the link between them? And
very good.
And
okay.
Saying in relation to
no, first one at a time. How can I understand, or how can you tell us, or how can you convince us that emptiness is the meaning of dependent origination? How? Number one, full stop. Number two, how dependent origination should be understood as the middle way. Two, once you get these two answers, then by default you will get the synthesis of these two. That is, therefore emptiness means the middle way, not nihilism. Okay. So first question, what's the first question?
The first one, do things exist? Is that the question?
No, two are done, finish.
So, how to make the
how does one understand emptiness in the light of dependent origination? Okay, this one. 5 points. 5 points. How one understands emptiness to be the meaning of dependent origination. 5 points. Number one, emptiness. Number one is emptiness. Okay. Emptiness does not mean nothingness. Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Okay, how many of you know who? How many of you know who? Raise hands, how many of you know who?
No, who?
You don't know who?
What?
Do you know the word who? Huh?
Who people in China? There's people, nation like that.
World Health Organization.
Very good. Okay. Very good. Okay. Who, right? When I say who, I'm not asking about the who in China or the who's who, right? Who are you? This is not what I'm asking. I'm asking. I saw somewhere on a big wall of a building which wrote WHO. Who? What is this who? This was what I was asking. So that's not who, it is World Health Organization. It's a short form of World Health Organization. Emptiness is not empty. Emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Okay, number one is emptiness. Number two is emptiness of independent existence. Emptiness means it is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number two. Number three. Emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number three. Nothing exists independently. Number three. Nothing exists independently. Number four. Nothing exists independently means everything exists by? Wonderful. Everything exists by dependence. Number four. Everything exists by dependence means everything is dependently originated. Number five. So therefore, with these five lines of reasoning, we come to realize that emptiness is not nothingness. Emptiness is the meaning of dependent origination. Got your first part done. What's the second part? What is the second?
In relation to dependent origination and the middle way.
How do you understand dependent origination to mean the middle way? How can we see dependent origination as the middle way? Okay, this is where we are really need to appreciate the Buddha's teachings. Where we don't have to it is not what do you call it, the doctrine. Oh, dependent origination is the middle way. Okay, full stop. No questions. Right? You can ask questions. This is the beauty of the Buddha's teaching. You can ask questions. Okay, in what way dependent origination is the middle way? This is a question. Dependent origination has two sides. Dependence and origination, two sides. Dependence. When you say dependence, what is the opposite of dependence? What is the opposite of dependence? Independence. When you say the first part, dependence, it rejects independence. Independence and absolutism, they mean the same. Something which is independent, something is absolute. These two mean the same. So when you say dependence, you are rejecting the extreme of absolutism. Number two is, hey, dependence is done. Origination. When you say origination, origination means something comes into origination. Something comes into origination means something comes into existence. What is the opposite of existence?
Self-existence.
What is the opposite of existence? Non-existence. As simple as that. You're getting it? So when you say origination, it rejects non-existence. Non-existence and nihilism, these two are the same. So origination rejects the extreme of nihilism. Dependence rejects the extreme of absolutism. Bringing the two together, dependent origination rejects the two extremes. Rejecting the two extremes is following the middle way. So therefore, dependent origination means the middle way. Now, bringing the two big theses into the conjoin the two. Emptiness means dependent origination, and dependent origination means the middle way. Bringing them together, you'll understand that emptiness is the middle way. Okay, this is extremely important. You're getting it? Okay, in future, whenever somebody else talks about emptiness to mean nothingness, or in your own studies, reflection, meditation, you come to some kind of conclusion that emptiness, everything is, nothing is really there. If this thought is coming to you, or you hear somebody else talking about it, you should think about these two questions and how the emptiness means the middle way. These two must be brought to your reflection. Okay, we'll stop here. Yatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvahatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha. We get through prostrations.